They speak in a new tongue and dance new dances, their minds battered into new molds and shapes, their eyes revealed in the wonder of the new, embraced and bound hearts with impregnable chains, the old songs as disintegrated dreams, remnants of a past, ties of family and friendship loosened, broken, burnt, the ashes thrown into the bottomless sea as fishes swim by, careless of the loss, mindful of where they're. A new generation, careless of bonds, of family, of tradition, of heritage. They care not. They revere the old, their minds turn inwards, only inwards, like the inside of clothes that marry the bodies of mankind. No room for elders, no, not even on the edge of their minds, their ears blocked to the old tongue and ways of doing things, glorifying in their newness of a borrowed tongue and culture. Every man for himself. Today we'll be focusing on the mood, tone, and atmosphere of this poem. My name is Mr. Ukeme Edung. I'm an English and literature teacher. Before I continue, I'd like you to subscribe and like this video. Today we'll be focusing on the analysis of the mood, tone, and on atmosphere of this poem from the perspective of my own students. Okay, so let's start by reading the analysis of my students. He's a he, and I'll start by reading. Let's first of all see the analysis from the perspective of the students, picking out symbols, imageries, and see how they've been able to analyze the poem. First of all, we've agreed it's a poem that has to do with communalism versus individualism, African communalism versus the Western individual lifestyle. The analysis of my students reads thus. The mood in the poem experienced by the reader in Elizabeth KAMARA's new tongue is the cultural upheaval experienced when traditional values are abandoned for foreign influences. The new tongue in the poem symbolizes a shift in identity where younger generations embrace modernity and globalization, often at the expense of their village. Let me turn this. I read again from globalization. Often at the expense of their heritage, this transformation is rather portrayed as a loss rather than progress, with imagery such as ashes thrown into the bottomless sea, reflecting the irretrievable nature of this cultural erosion. The poem also delves into the generational divide. The poem contrasts carelessness of the youth and who are, careless of bonds, family, and tradition. The student here has been able to focus his analysis on the subject matter of cultural upheaval. To this, my students, foreign influences have actually led to cultural interruption that has led to the experience of cultural upheaval by the new generations, that is the younger generations of Africans who embrace modernity and globalization. To this person, the agreement here is that the communal lifestyle of Africans, where bonds, ties of friendship, family, and tradition is revered, have been what? Have been marred. I quote from the poem. A new generation, careless of bonds, of family, of tradition, of heritage, they care not, nor revere the old. Their minds turn inwards, only inwards, like the inside of clothes that marry the bodies of mankind. So, to these particular students, the new generations of Africans have actually abandoned the originality and the sacredness of African traditional life, living, and existence. To them, the essence of being Africans have been interrupted by the global Western lifestyle. To this writer, virtual reality, ICT, information and communication technology, has actually tempered with what Africans so much cherish, so much value, and so much revere. That is its nativity. And that is what is meant by the cultural upheaval experienced. In the analysis of another of my students, it reads thus: the mood in the poem experienced by the reader in Elizabeth KAMARA's new tongue is disappointment and nostalgia. The mood is disappointment because the poetic persona feels that the new generation has abandoned the old tongue and tradition. She feels that the new tongue has disregarded everything about their heritage, careless about ties of families and friendship, all to the borrowed tongue and culture. She also states that the respect that the new generation have or has for their elders is gone, like in the phrase, "no room for elders." This represents disrespect that the new tongue has for elders and culture. The mood is also nostalgia because she remembers the old days and how the old songs were before the development of the new song, when she said they hang the last look on their culture. It represents the carelessness and cold-heartedness of the new and borrowed tongue. So, disappointment of Elizabeth is projected in the theme of cultural neglect, and nostalgia as projected in the theme of old songs and heritage. This particular student of mine concentrates her analysis on the subject matter of cultural neglect. This person here feels that Elizabeth KAMARA is disappointed or nurses the mood of disappointment because she feels Africans have actually disappointed cultural originality. They've actually disappointed the Africanness, the negritudinal philosophy, and they've actually replaced them with the carelessness and attitude of revering the new modes and culture of the global world. It reads thus in the last lines: no room for elders, not even the edge of their minds, their ears blocked to the old tongue and ways of doing things, glorifying the newness of the borrowed tongue and culture, every man for himself. Today, I'll wrap up this analysis by saying my students are actually correct. One focusing on the mood, tying his or analysis to cultural neglect, and the other tying his analysis to cultural upheaval. I'll wrap up by saying the poem New Tongue is actually a call to Africans by KAMARA Elizabeth for us to go back to the roots where the rainforest beat us, like Chinua Achebe will say. It's a time for us to be reflective about the originality of African tradition that we've lost, that has made us be or act individualistic rather than being communal like we have in the philosophy of Ujamaa, that is the basis of African socialism. Thank you. Don't forget to subscribe to this video, like it, And keep following us as we update you on literary analysis of texts and English language activities, or ESL activities rather. I remain Mr. Samuel Ukeme. I'm an English and literature teacher. Thank you.